Hi, I'm Brenton Ward from Turtle Tough. In today's video I'm going to show you how to properly clean and maintain your pH and ORP sensors. The best way to do this is by using the Turtle Tough cleaning kit. This kit contains everything you need to properly clean and condition your sensors ready for use. It must be stressed that with a proper cleaning regime you're going to greatly extend the life of your sensors. Let's start by having a look at what's in the kit. We have a HCl cleaning solution at 10% strength. The white powder is a special glass cleaning polish. The green liquid is a conditioning solution. This is for the reference. This is the same liquid that you'll find inside the storage cap of your pH sensors. We have some tools for the job. We have a beaker for using the various solutions. We have a nail brush. This is very useful when you remove a sensor from the process. You'd use this initially to remove any sort of large debris or contaminants on the sensor tip. We have a scalpel or a blade, and we use this for scraping the reference clean for particularly stubborn contaminants. And last but not least, we do have some Q-tips or some cotton tips, and we use this for polishing the glass. Now, when you first remove a sensor from service, the first thing you're going to do is grab the nail brush, and preferably under tap water or in a sink, you're going to give the end of the tip a thorough scrub and clean to remove most of the large debris. The next stage is to soak the sensor in the 10% hydrochloric acid solution for at least 10 minutes. Some applications will require longer to dissolve the solids on the end of the sensor, but 10 minutes is the minimum recommendation. After you've soaked it in acid for 10 minutes, then give the tip a thorough rinse, and the next stage then is to start cleaning the glass and the reference. If you take a look at the end of the sensor, the components we're talking about here, the white-brown region around the bulb in the middle, that's the reference. This sensor here, that's made of a porous kynar material. It's a type of plastic. It's very robust and very hard to damage. That's why we can take to it with some rather aggressive cleaning tools. However, the glass at the center of the sensor, that's the delicate bit, and that's what we're going to be careful of, making sure that we don't come into contact with the glass with any screwdrivers or sharp implements. We're going to use the cotton bud and some of the cleaning powder to carefully clean that glass. After initially scrubbing and then soaking the sensor in HCl, that should remove most of the contaminants from the sensor tip and especially around the reference area. But if you have particularly stubborn contaminants, you'll want to grab your sharp blade and very carefully, making sure that you don't make contact with the glass bulb, very carefully you want to scrape the reference, the flat reference area, keep rotating the probe around 360 degrees. This reference is made out of a kynar plastic material. So it's extremely durable, and I'm able to scrape a layer off the top, and that reveals fresh reference underneath that's going to be highly responsive now to our solution. The next stage, after our reference is cleaned, we're now going to tackle the glass. As I've said earlier, you do need to be careful of the glass when you're handling sharp implements, particularly screwdrivers. I guess one of the number one breakages is people chipping away at the reference area with a large screwdriver and inadvertently putting it through the glass. Our glasses are very tough. You can bash the glasses quite hard on their tip. This is actually a raw glass before it's actually built into the sensor. So that just shows you the strength of the glass, but it's not going to survive a direct hit with a screwdriver. That said, we can take to it with a reasonable amount of force. I'm going to use a cotton bud and a little bit of the white powder, which is our glass polisher or glass cleaner. I only need a small amount of powder, just tap maybe a fingernail full or a quarter of a teaspoon onto a hard surface. What I'm then going to do is I'm going to wet a cotton bud or a cotton tip, wet the tip, and with the wet tip I'm going to place that just into the powder, and that's going to make a paste. So this will make a polishing paste that I'm going to use on the glass. and this will allow me to polish the glass and remove any films or contaminants. Those films and contaminants will of course reduce the sensor's responsiveness, and this process here will greatly increase the sensor response, particularly if there are any oils or films on that glass. So keep moving around the glass, make sure you cover 360 degrees. It doesn't matter if you get any of the polishing solution onto the reference, it will completely wash off. The next stage is to rinse that off the tip, preferably using DI water, and then just using a couple of lint-free tissues. I'm just going to give that a small rub and a wipe, and that is perfect, nice and clean. If you can see the glass in the end there, it should have a slight green tinge. That's normal, but there should be no film or any dark colours across the surface of that glass. It should be nice and clear, and that's now almost ready to go back into service. The final step is using the conditioning solution, and this is very important. The cleaning process we've just done has sucked a lot of the contaminants out of the sensor, but it's also taken some of the good ions with it. So the conditioning solution will help replenish the reference, and as a rule of thumb, if I have soaked my sensor in HCl for 10 minutes, I'm going to leave it at least 10 minutes in the conditioning solution. In some applications, when a sensor has been severely compromised or it's getting towards the end of life, you may want to even rejuvenate the sensor by soaking it overnight, and you'd be amazed at how that really can bring a sensor back to life. But a few mil of this in your beaker, making sure that you cover the reference area and the tip of the sensor, and leave that for at least 10 minutes. Now, if you're not putting your sensor straight back into the process, always make sure you store it correctly. Every sensor comes with a black cap, storage cap, and inside that cap is a ball of cotton wool. This cotton wool is soaked in the green conditioning solution, and prior to replacing the cap for storage, always put a couple of drops and refresh the cotton wool with your conditioning solution. Make sure it's nice and moist, and then replace that cap back onto the sensor. When storing the sensors, it's always best to put them back into their original box and store them in the vertical position, and that just prevents any liquids from leaking out. It is also the best way to store the sensor to give the best longevity during storage. And that's it. It's as simple as that. So with a bit of dedicated cleaning and care, you will greatly extend the life of your Turtle Tough pH and ORP sensors. As we've discussed today, use the cleaning kit appropriately. Make sure that you always clean the sensors in the appropriate solution. Clean the reference in the glass. Be careful not to damage the glass with sharp implements like screwdrivers, and then always finish with a conditioning solution which will rejuvenate the reference. Should you have any queries about that, please don't hesitate to contact me or my team at www.turtletough.com.au. Thank you.